Neckties can be quite an investment, especially high quality neckties. They can cost some good money. So you want to make sure that you keep your neckties in the best condition for as long as possible. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some things that you should never do with your neckties. So let's do it. So the first thing that you should never do with your neckties is keep it tied. I know maybe you had a very long day, maybe you're tired, you cannot wait to take it off, and that's okay, take it off, but please take time to untie your necktie. I see so many guys, I see so many men that will take off the necktie and never untie it. They will keep it tied for all of eternity. That is guaranteed to ruin your necktie, because the next time you actually want to untie it and tie a new necktie knot, you're going to have creases and wrinkles. It's just gonna look awful. So keeping your tie tied for all of your life, it's guaranteed to ruin a necktie. So don't do it. The next thing that you should never do with your neckties is store them carelessly. Because I know it's very simple just to take it off and toss it in the first drawer that you see, or hang it in whatever surface you can find. What I would recommend instead is to roll them carefully, kind of loosely, so they are not too tight, or you can hang them in a dedicated hanger or a rack. There are many options. Just be careful with how you store your neckties. Up next is never pull on the knot to untie the necktie. I see this on, I would say 90% of men do this, and I eventually commit this error myself. So this is just a reminder for myself as well. But to untie your necktie, never pull on the knot. I know that's the fastest way to do it, but instead what you should do is think about the steps you took to tie your necktie to come up with the knot that you're wearing, and go backwards, go in reverse. So those steps, follow them backwards, and that's the way you should be untying every single knot. So that's a reminder for you, and it's a reminder for me. The next thing is you should never expose your necktie to harsh elements. And by harsh elements, I mean perfume. So if you're going to be wearing perfume, don't spray it directly on your necktie. I'm talking about food. So be careful when you are eating and you're wearing a necktie not to get any stains on it. But I'm also talking about things like water. So you shouldn't be spilling water over your necktie, or even trying to clean your necktie with water. Please don't do that. Or even sunlight, direct sunlight. So if you are storing your necktie somewhere where you will get a lot of direct sunlight, that will definitely damage the necktie. So please don't expose your neckties to any of those elements. Now, if you do get a stain on your necktie, because accidents can happen, and they will happen eventually, and it is very tempting to just toss your necktie in the washing machine, please never try to clean a necktie in a washing machine. You're not supposed to do that. Instead, do a little bit of research, try to find someone on Google locally that has experience cleaning neckties or taking care of very delicate fabrics. That's the way to do it. The next thing that you should never be doing with your neckties is ignoring creases and wrinkles. So if you have been wearing a necktie for many hours, by the end of the day when you take it off, it is quite common for you to see these very small wrinkles or creases, but you should never ignore them. So when you put away the necktie, make sure that you store it carefully. We already talked about that. Hang it carefully, leave it there for a few days, and the wrinkles and creases will start to disappear. If it's a little bit more extreme, you can always use a steamer very carefully at a very low heat level to help the creases disappear. But that's just in extreme cases. Normally, if you just store your necktie carefully, that should get rid of all the creases and wrinkles. The next thing you should not be doing with your neckties is, overusing your neckties. And I know, being realistic, it can be a little bit complicated, especially if you don't have a huge necktie collection, which is perfectly fine, but you will end up wearing the same necktie time and time again. So please allow at least a few days to let it rest. If it's needed, you can always get a second necktie that will allow you to alternate a little bit more. But the action of tying and untying the necktie constantly is just a perfect recipe to ruin a necktie. Now this next thing can be a little bit controversial, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to be controversial at all. But you should never wear pins or clips on your neckties. Maybe some of you have seen those images of certain men that wear kind of like a pin in the middle of the necktie. Sometimes I'll admit it, I think they look interesting, at least. Sometimes I think they look nice. But in reality, the action of, clipping something on the fabric of the necktie, I can guarantee you right here, right now, 100%, eventually you will ruin that necktie. So, as beautiful as you may think those clips can be, they are not good for your neckties. You can always wear a tie bar if that's something that you want to try that is not going to be so damaging to the necktie. So, was it controversial or not? I honestly don't know, but you let me know in the comments. The next thing that you should not be doing with your neckties, and actually, I'm guilty of this myself. I'm very ashamed to admit, but that's the truth. And that is, you should never tie your knots too tight. Now, I do it, I'll be honest with you, I do it because I do feel like the necktie knot will look cleaner, more elegant, and you will get a better dimple if you tie it a little bit tighter. Just don't go super tight, extremely tight. But then again, if you leave it kind of loose, like a loose knot, it loses a lot of personality, in my opinion. But try to find that middle ground and don't go too tight. And that again was mostly a message to me. You're all invited to follow my advice, but it was a good reminder not to tie my knots too tight. I promise I'll try. Now, the last thing that you should never be doing with your neckties is neglecting maintenance. Now, this is more of a conclusion of all the other tips that I just shared, but just take good care of your neckties. Store them carefully. When you're ready to take off your necktie by the end of the day, do it in the proper manner. Don't spill things on your neckties. Make sure you don't get stains on neckties. All these things. Again, neckties can be quite expensive, so you should really take good care of them. So those, ladies and gentlemen, were the 10 things that you should never be doing with your neckties if you want to keep them in a good condition for as long as possible. Now, I may be forgetting some of the tips. Maybe you have some tips that I don't know myself that you want to share with me or share with the rest of the community. And if that's the case, please go ahead. Make sure you leave those tips in the comment section. But for now, thank you for watching. Stay dapper, and I'll see you in the next one.